I feel for them, and it's so unwelcoming. It is very bad. You see a man crying on a woman's issue. That doesn't worth it. A man is crying because he was sent out of his matrimonial home by a woman. Can you try it in Nigeria? Come on, Leader, Sita.
Welcome to Question Time from the Diaspora. We're here to talk about the huge surge of divorces in the Black African community, predominantly the Nigerian community. The men have said it's the fault of the women have said it's the fault of the men, and there's that video trending. What's really going on? Good day, Ms. Jennifer Bassett. Now, what do you think, first of all, is responsible for these divorces, whether it's the man or the woman?
There are so many issues that come up for marital breakdown or for relationship breakdown. Nobody intends to marry so that they can separate or divorce. But a divorce happens when a marriage breaks down irrevocably. That means you've tried everything and it's not able to come back together.
Well, this is a very, very interesting question that people of this generation should be listening to, or should be answering. Marriage. I'm going to be comparing those days and now.
You go and bring woman from home to the UK or to abroad. I will expect those in diaspora to know one thing. These are novice, someone who doesn't know anything. They've been watching movies, see how beautiful it is. You know, you yourself being in abroad, you'll be wearing nice clothes, Gucci, to go and bring that woman down. Then now it appears you only have one bedroom. One small tiny room, you manage it.
They say initially when you get together as a Nigerian man and a woman, in most cases, the earning capacity of the woman is not, it grows as the marriage grows, the tolerance of, with the earning capacity comes responsibilities, and the man doesn't know how to cope with those responsibilities.
So is that a cultural thing? Is that not the man's own problem?
You cannot manage or compare your a Nigerian culture or African culture with that of the developed one. These are two different things that never work.
Obviously, we have we have the cultural issue, especially if it's a firstborn son. They may have family rights and duties that they have to fulfill back home, and that can cause an issue. Sometimes, while they're back home for months or weeks at a time, they themselves establish new relationships, or the partner or the wife in London feels neglected.
Second one, they say most Nigerian marriages are not built on love. They're convenience for the parents to say my child is married. The pressure of the age to say you are at the marrying age, you have to go out and get married now. This applies for both people.
Things are changing. I'm going to say why marriages back home where we came from are not too failing, still working, compared to the one we have here, where we find ourselves the developed society that have actually come to, how will I put it, destroy the culture in marriage. One, back home, when we talk about marriage, both families come together. And in my time, it is the parents that will go and talk to the girls, the girls' parents, on behalf of the son or their daughter. They come together knowing fully well that these two parties have actually brought their children up in the way they want them to be or want their marriage to grow. So when these two parties come together and agree in their mutual understanding that they want their children to be married to each other, these children take this coming together very serious.
And then they say the diaspora Nigerian woman, she finds herself as she continues to live in the diaspora, and the traditional way of life doesn't work anymore.
So there's two things there. One is if a marriage is not built on love, when the couple, either the man or the woman, feels that, you know what, I didn't get into this out of love and I'm now tired, either I was forced into it, and when they feel strong enough to step away from it, that's what's happening. Or when a woman steps into, as you said, the diaspora sort of cultural lifestyle, she grows a sense of independence.
Yes. And
well, then that growth of independence, if she actually loves the person she's with, or the gentleman in the same situation, they would stay together. So it all comes down to love, in my opinion. I do feel that there may be Western influences, if you want to call it that make it make African women maybe not uphold that level of traditional values, or staying quiet, or acquiesced in a situation where they know the marriage is just one of convenience. But is that a good or a bad thing? Do you think that women should stay in an unhappy marriage, or if they were forced into it, or if it was one done not out of love?
It is where she found herself, the society with which she now belongs to. Okay, you just said this is a woman that has nothing before, that was nobody, but now she's somebody. So the laws of the land now gave her the impetus to change behavior, different, forgetting where she's coming from. And that is a big mistake. We must always remember where we're coming from.
Okay, now I want to, the final one, I think on the first list here, there's just one more. It says, the Nigerian man cannot work hard enough to meet the bills in the diaspora, and hence, as the woman keeps climbing the ladder, she expects the man to pull up. And in most cases, if he's not able to, she seems to think damn the consequence.
Well, the thing is, when you look at how black women within the diaspora communities have progressed, we've seen the recent example of a strong black woman in Meghan Markle. Some people may argue she's not black even, but that's a strong woman who was used to a certain lifestyle, came into a royal household, found that she was not comfortable, and said, look, I need to thrive, I need to not just live, I need to be comfortable and excel. And given the fact that she's a strong woman, she's made her choices, and lucky she has a strong husband that actually supported those. However, within the diaspora community, what we're seeing a lot of empowered black women, I must say it in that terminology, and within that you have the level of you have the type of woman that's not going to tolerate what she doesn't want to. Some women may tolerate.
But I say to you, the man has forgotten that the woman that you are going to bring from the village or from the city in Africa is coming here to do exactly what you are doing. And by the time she knows that, then your authority as a man has failed. The man refused to recognize this. And this is the reason why before you dabble into a situation like this, please try as much as possible. Let this woman understand.
And the woman you bring it from home is coming to marry. Is coming to start life as a wife, not as a girlfriend. So they expect more in that environment now. You have given them different image to what marriage is all about. So now, you cannot meet up to satisfy that woman. That would be big pressure on you.
You understand? So you from the cases you've seen as a lawyer, from the people who have come to you, do you sometimes look at it from this angle to say, we are a young population and there's more problems than divorce waiting for us in front?
So are you saying that people are they're premature in their decision to separate and to divorce?
I think we're moving too fast.
Is that what you think? They're moving too fast? Well, some of these couples are very young, and some of them are quite let me say, insistent on what they want. So you cannot ask somebody to spend time in a situation where they're not happy simply because you think they're moving too fast.
Because this woman, you don't know her fully well. Different from the kind of woman your parents arrange marriage where these two parties come together. You don't, that something like that is not here. You just met. And it becomes a burden when this woman you thought is your best person you have found now become your worst enemy. Now becomes your burden.
So when you start having children now, we have the economical system in UK, and not to forget the law as well, that actually back the women or support the women empowerment in the United Kingdom. We might be talking about equality in marriage, in relationship. The UK equality is actually most favoring the women. So if you shout on the woman, whether you are having financial challenges, let's talk about financial disability. It's not of the woman business. You didn't tell her that one at home. If you were to plan at home, now we're going to the UK, I want us to be working, we're going to do it 50-50. It's not the way my dad do it in Nigeria, where women are the one just saying, yes, sir. Yes, sir. It doesn't work in the UK.
Like what you've explained, and I am with you. The patience of the Nigerian diaspora woman, it wears thin as the career, as the burdens of the career increases, and the Nigerian man is not playing the role she thinks he should play to support.
There are some very good men out there that support their wives' career aspirations and as their wives excel in their careers. So if a woman is with a man that's not supporting as she excels in her career, it can be difficult. That can in itself cause tension in the marriage. If a man says, look, I'm not prepared to, let's say, stay at home while you go to night school, or I'm not prepared to pay any more for after school lessons, you be at home and look after the kids, I'm not paying any more, or I'm not contributing towards the cost of a babysitter while you do some extra management work at the office, then that could be a difficult thing for a woman who has aspirations.
Again, I won't blame some men who are in that position, because if you are an African in the diaspora, in the Europe, and you are from a very strong African traditional background all your life, so when you come to the UK, the same thing will also affect the man. It will expect that from a woman to be able to do all the cooking. But however, when your background is different, whereby in the house where mom asks the boys to cook, it's about power now. It's about power. The boys cook, the girls also cook. So when they come to the UK, they are married. Cooking will not be difficult for both of them. But however, the tradition, the culture part, we are talking about Edo woman. I'm just talking about Edo because I'm from Edo State. So we expect women to be able to do the kitchen parts, which favor her. There will not be argument in the kitchen in the first place, to do all the cooking. Then the other part of it, if I say that the man will be able to provide all the money at the same time, if you don't want to do the kitchen. But if the woman is doing the kitchen, she's the one bringing in the money, and maybe in the long run, the stress over the man not working, not able to meet up, might start engaging when he's not able to afford in terms of good communication. A man who cannot afford children needs and all that, come on, there will be a big impact to that man's psychological well-being. And that might result for him being vulnerable in the community.
Do people who spend money on big lavish weddings work hard at saving it before, if it's going to break? Do they work hard?
I don't believe so. I believe that your marriage, if it's lacking love and there's major issues, is going to collapse no matter how much you spent on the wedding. It may be an incentive to work harder at rekindling the relationship, because you think, oh my gosh, we've just spent X amount of money. But it shouldn't be a factor that determines you staying together. Love should be the factor that determines that you stay together. So if the woman feels that I can't stay in this relationship because it's no longer one that is supportive of me, I'm feeling emotionally drained, it's making me feel unhappy, the love is gone, then she's in a position where she sits down and has to say, can I mediate, or has this marriage broken down irrevocably?
Lawyer. Be loyal to each other. Be honest. Do not raise your ego, because some of us here, because you are here, the woman will think you have everything which you don't have. They lie a lot to the woman. All you need to do is to be honest. Tell this woman, look, where she's coming to, or what the kind of life she's coming to share has to be a life of mutual understanding. This is who you have to be able to tell yourself what you've been experiencing or what she's going to experience. If you don't speak the truth to this woman has came with a mindset that this is a European country, that you've been enjoying yourself, you have money, and that money she's coming to share. And if you don't clarify this before that woman, she comes here just the way you came, to come and suck out what she can get out of the land.
Because we're not talking about cheating. We're not talking about staying in Nigeria.
Are you sure that nobody said cheating there?
No, but these are not. It's on the list, but it's not at the top of the list.
I see.
Cheating. Well, if you want me to say something about that, what will create or why people think they cheat in their matrimonial home? One, probably the man is not able to meet his financial obligation, and this woman too will want to look at somewhere. Not all of them that look at somewhere will actually goes out to do whatever the man will think or whatever the woman will think. Like I said, when there is understanding, you can leave your wife, you can leave your man to go everywhere, right? But the problem will be when the financial obligation is not met from either side, either the man or the woman. There is this possibility for this man to go out, cheat on his wife. There are a lot of women out there who wants to buy men. And there are a lot of men there who want to buy a woman with money. This country is all about survival. You have to pay bills. You have to look after yourself. Everybody want to look good. And to be able to do this, you have to do one thing or the other to survive. But that is not what it's supposed to be.
Because there are other women, a majority of people will say women will buy men. It's not actually women who pay to buy them. When they are now vulnerable, they need money to be a man in the house. Then that's where they now fall into temptation. But hardworking man, like myself, I think cooking is not my problem in my house. You know, that doesn't mean most of the time, me and my wife, the only challenges we face is that she wants to do, she don't want me in the kitchen, in the visitor around. So that's not a problem because that's tradition. But behind closed door, I will advise men to try as much as possible to support in the kitchen, especially when you have women who are hardworking. What do they call career women? They should be supported. I think in the modern society, women should be given advantage to engage in education, do all those things, just like we call it the men, collar, suits. So women should be able to play that role.
Let's take it like this. Regardless of, I think the women in the world, as it stands, the women have the power, except you're in Nigeria, to say, this is ended, you have to leave because of kids. But
not all women have the power, but women do have the, let me say, legislation in place, and that's well robustly used in the Western world, but not in all cases. On the African continent, they may still suffer from a bit of inequality in the application of the law, but there's even developments that are taking place in Africa. But yes, the lady kind of said, can you do that back home, kind of thing. And to be fair with you, the courts back home are beginning to catch up. Some of them are able to issue orders that excludes an abusive partner from a home, or a partner that is more able to get a property independently from what was the matrimonial home.
Missing society. Divorce is a real painful process, for both. There's a lot of pain involved in divorce.
Of course.
There's children, there's the man, there's property, there's friends, there's a lot of things.
Yeah.
But
friends sometimes take sides.
It's like,
it's very sad.
You end up fighting
Children
friends,
take sides.
who are now your friends.
Presumptuous. The other thing that we had in the courts last year is, have they made divorce too easy? There's no fault divorce.
Okay.
So I see where you're going, in the sense that has the law even made it even easier for people to separate, that there should be a level of compelled effort?
Well, giving a divorce a different definition, was that supposed to be the purpose for the marriage? It wasn't. Especially when, just don't forget, if human beings are involved now, we're talking about the children. Forget, if you want to talk about divorce in that situation, I think this is where people need to think twice before they dabble into it, because now the children are involved, human beings are involved. But how are we going to manage when the man and the woman now realizes, oh, they are not they are not suitable for each other? Before you dabble into that, I think these people, men, or the man and the woman, should think that someone is already involved, and that if anything go wrong now, the one that will suffer will be the children. So I will advise, as much as possible, for these two people to look for a way to secure and salvage that relationship, just because of those children involved.
I think the divorce in the Nigerian community, I say, is not about whether, when we talk about marriage in the first place, marriage is something everybody wants to do. Even 60 years or 70 years old, they still want to get married today, to get that suit on and get the certificate that they were married. So this is not a social thing to get married. But when we are talking about the traditional marriage, where you have father, mother coming together, a man and woman coming together, leaving their parents to come and start having children, another life. Yes, is really, we are limited in that area. The traditional part is no longer there, and this is causing lots of lots of impacts in the divorce in African community.
Basically, let's talk about how people can save their weddings in the absence of cultural mediators, in the presence of the Western pressures. As you've seen, we know what's going to happen.
Counseling, you can go to counseling.
Before there's problems, or when there's...
Well, I would say you should do counseling before you get married. And one of the things that happens is people rush into situations and they're in the height of emotion, and sometimes they don't stay together long enough to know each other's characters. Sometimes they don't think about going to counseling that talks about difficulties they may have when they're in the marriage, and discuss as a couple how you would cope with some situations.
Would you recommend? Because I'm trying to keep
Highly
up with you so that we can
I
interact.
highly recommend counselling before marriage, so that you've got somebody who's experienced that sits you down and says, what happens if she loses her job? What happens if she has, gets pregnant and then she's just started a new job? What happens if you cheat? What happens if there's not enough money in the household? It's good that people evoke these questions to the couple prior to getting married, because it helps them discuss and understand each other's character a lot better.
Do you feel, I'm an African man,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been, for all I've known, do you know African couples to get counselling before marriage?
I do. A lot of the churches offer good counselling before marriage. A lot of people nowadays are quite clued up. Some ask for prenuptial agreements.
Have you noticed that?
There's an increase in that.
Yeah,
increasing the number of people asking for prenuptial agreements. Yes.
But pre-counselling before wedding, have you noticed it had any impact?
Positive impacts. That's why I recommend it. Absolutely.
First of all, in this community, we still have some good people around. But I know among these good people, there are still these bad ones who will say, oh, you know what? You were advised before not to dabble into this relationship. But there are still some good people you can go to, especially now I want to talk about God. Be prayerful. Take your problem to God before going to human being. You can actually get people that will salvage your marriage. Not only the elderly people, there are some young people too that are really, really knowledgeable to give you advice on what to do to rescue your marriages.
I think, firstly, before I talk about our options, we need to understand that many things has influenced that whether you go to solicitor, in any case and all that, depends on the community. Community, everyone believes that is the option out, is a social and modern thing to do. When the man talks to you anyhow, you just get rid of it, And some of them will avoid engaging in the intervention in helping Afro-Caribbean, whether Nigerian, Ghanaian community, And one of those things they are avoiding is that when we talk about community association, when we talk about churches, when we talk about, I may not just use the word church, a religious environment, maybe Muslim, whichever background you belong to, these things are still taking the traditional and cultural level. Yes, you have the church tradition, you have the church culture, you have the Muslim tradition, you have the Muslim culture. So if you are saying now a man having another woman is an issue as a topic now, but however in Muslim you have them having 10 wives, 15 wives, yeah. So that would be another difficulties for us to face. So if you talk about the Christian background, our pastors, the leaders, need to be able to come up with a teaching that will empower our community, so that they will be able to have faith in the church, able to resolve a relationship, And me saying that, we live in a society where the law are actually very active. What the law looks at, the impact of mental health in women, the men, the children. So even if church can actually do it, church will actually need to be able to pray to overcome it. If they can, it will still be difficult, because church is to pamper them. God, we find it difficult to judge each other, isn't it, as a Christian. So pastor position need to be clear in regard to intervention in marriages, rather than just marrying more.
Jennifer Baski, I thank you. This is quite a touchy subject.
It's very touchy. Everybody has their own inner core beliefs, religion, cultures. So all of that is impactful. But number one, try and have your what's the word again? Have your counselling. Try and have your counselling before the marriage. Love, prayers, and a lot of effort. You know, you have to revisit it. You're human beings. You change, so you have to revisit what makes each other happy during the course of marriage. Divorce should be the last option, not the first option.
We were talking about the stigma of divorce because we're faced with clear and present danger. We go out of this office now. There's a lot of Nigerians. There's a lot of Nigerians that we know just getting divorced. We're now coming to the end of this interview, and I do appreciate the time you've given us. And I don't want to say come to a basket solicitors if you're going through a divorce, but they will go elsewhere.
They have to come, of course. And it's difficult times, so if you come to us, we'll be sensitive. Be compassionate with your situation, but we'll also tell you what your rights are to help you. But we're not the place for divorce, no. We are here to protect your legal rights and advise you during this difficult decision making that you may have.
May I just digress, because I know there's people watching this shows. From the government, is there any plans for employment as cultural marriage mediators? I'm